Pylon listeners, we are back getting ready for week 11 of the NFL season. Though the season is winding down, it's getting really intense, especially for second place in the NFC North. Between the Lions, Bears, and Vikings, Kingers, Packers have taken a 3-game lead, but that's all right. But let's go around the horn here before we start diving into week 11 and previewing it. So I'm Big Z, representing the Detroit Lions. Let's go around to the rest of the crew. We got Kinger, representing the Pack.
As always, gentlemen, good to be back.
Remy, representing the resurgent Vikings.
Let's keep them wins coming. Skull to the bowl.
And then Barney, getting ready for a nice bye week for the Bears.
You know what? When it all comes down to it, I'd rather live in Chicago than Green Bay, Minnesota, or Detroit. So that's what we got going for us, fellas.
Oh boy. Well, I can attest for the other three of us when we none of us would want the Bears offense. So let's dive in here to week 11. But before we do that, we'll start with you, Barney. Just any news report from about the Bears and Chicago since you have your bye week this week. Anything before we head into the games?
So a couple things. Akeem Hicks seems to have aggravated his hamstring. That's what I kind of feared from the game. It seems to be a week-to-week decision, but it most likely he'll be out for about 2 or 3 weeks minimum. So that hurts. Dude, I mean, we got a little banged up on Monday night. But most importantly, there's reports coming out of Hallis Hall that George McCaskey, grandson of George Hallis, Papa Bear, is very upset with the way the Bears are performing, and rightfully so. But this isn't a stance that he's ever publicly come out about, and he usually always uses mediators and people to help him and consultants like Corsi and whatnot. And it just seems like Nagy and Pace are more on the hot bubble than what you would normally expect. So whatever comes about it, I'm just glad that there's not a lot of complacency going from the top.
So it took Kirk Cousins to get his first Monday Night Football win, a loss at home to Kirk Cousins. That's what it finally took, and what put the Bears over the edge to finally publicly announce a little bit of frustration in the organization, Barney?
Fuck you. All right. Fuck you. That's a loaded question there. But yeah, what it all does boil down to is the fact that this has been a product that nobody in Chicago has wanted to watch, for the last 10 weeks. So, hopefully there's just some precedents that are made, and the Bears are on the up and forward. So I don't know what else to fucking say.
It sounds like no Akeem Hicks then for that Packers Bears game then, huh?
Yeah,
most likely.
Akeem Hicks looks like he probably will be out next week. And the reports came back positive for Foles that it might just be a hip pointer. I've never had a hip pointer. I don't know what the fuck that feels like. However, I would assume that they might roll with Trubisky if he's healthy. If he's not healthy, we did just sign Kyle Slaughter, whatever his name is. He's from the Vikings.
Oh,
Slaughter.
Yeah,
we have Slaughter, the Slaughterhouse. Slaughter. We have Tyler Bray, and we just worked out ND alum Deshaun Kaiser. So I really don't know what the hell is going to happen in Week 12 after our bye, but I'll know more next pregame.
I'd love nothing more than to see Deshaun Kaiser play a game with the Bears. That'd just be hilarious. Of 1-15 of Cleveland Browns fame? Come on now.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up, dude. I mean, here I thought you were on my side.
Oh, no. Hell
versus the Packers, and here I am. I think you'd be on my side here, but all right. I see how it is.
Kaiser was on the Packers, right, for a little while? Wasn't he, Kinger?
Yeah, we gave him a run. That was Goody came in and traded Demarius Randall over to Cleveland, and he was a part of that trade coming back. So we gave him a run. Obviously didn't work out there in Green Bay. So we'll see if it's any different. I know Barney's got to be excited about his ND guy.
All right. Let's move on now to the Week 11 games. We're going to start off here with the Lions traveling on the road to Carolina. The Lions are 1.5-point underdogs. There's no over-under yet out for this game, but the Lions are 1.5-point underdogs traveling to Carolina. No Christian McCaffrey in this game. That's a big factor for sure for the Lions. Kenny Golladay returning back to practice this week, so that's a major positive. Matt Stafford, the big news with him is that he has a partially torn ligament in his thumb. So he did not practice as of Wednesday. He still has not practiced. He was just standing on the sideline, not even stretching or doing anything. So he was really positive on Monday about playing. And then Tuesday he kind of went quiet about it. So that's a big concern, especially as the Lions are trying to fight for their playoff lives, even with the minimal chance of getting there. But still, you want to see him in there and fight to the end. We went through this last year. Matt Stafford, after Week 8, didn't play the rest of the year. And we, as Lions fans, that's the last thing we want to see, is Matt Stafford out again and relying on a backup. So we'll see. Amendola was out again. So Marvin Jones also did not practice. Neither of them were seen on the field even for practice. So there's the Lions are hurting pretty bad, and that doesn't include the fact that we still have Trey Flowers out on IR. I don't know if he'll be back or ready for Thanksgiving, but it'll be interesting to see what happens this coming Sunday. I like the Lions' chances on the road though against a Carolina team. They're 3-7. They're a competitive team though. Teddy Bridgewater's kind of banged up. Mike Davis doesn't impress me.
Is Teddy Bridgewater going to play?
I think he's trending that way, yes. From my understanding, he's going to be playing this week. I don't know for sure, but it seems like I've seen more reports that he's more likely to play than not to play, I guess, is the way of putting it. But Mike Davis.
So who's more likely to play, Teddy or Stafford?
That's a tough. I would say Teddy right now, just because I think he practiced this week. As of Wednesday, I believe he was practicing. I can look this up to confirm. But Stafford is. I think Stafford's going to play. He was super confident on Monday. He played through the torn ligament or whatever after it was taped up all last Sunday against the Washington football team. So I think he's ready to go. Yeah, Bridgewater was limited at Wednesday's practice. Matt Rule thought he's going to play. So I think they're both going to play ultimately. Stafford was pretty confident, and it's going to. I think with the taped up hand, he's going to be fine.
Do you think Galladay's going to play at all?
I think so. The fact that he practiced the last 2 days, I think is extremely encouraging. He wasn't limited; he was a full participant, so that's super encouraging after being out in 2 weeks. I fully expect him to play as of now. I can't speak for Marvin Jones or Amendola right now. I'm not sure what their deal is, but they did not practice yet this week.
Does the Matt Rule offense give you a little bit of cause of concern over there, Big Z? They seem to have him and Joe Brady seem to have a pretty good system going down there, at least from the early looks of it.
They do, until it looks like they hit the second half. The Panthers have been outscored significantly in the second half this year. The only thing I'm concerned about is maybe if Okudah is out there and Robbie Anderson's out there with that speed. Okudah seems to struggle with some speed down the sidelines. But Okudah last week only played 36% of the snaps. It was Trufant and Awarrier, our top two cornerbacks. They're both healthy heading into this week as well. So that's less of a concern for me. As long as the Lions can control the run game, I'm pretty confident in the Lions' ability on defense to hold the Panthers to 20 points. I think that's right where around I have the Panthers scoring in this game. It's easier said than done, but again, I really like what the Lions have gotten more pass rush the last 3 weeks than they have in the last 2.5 years under Patricia. A big part of that is the emergence of Romeo Okwara and Everson. The Everson Griffin signing's been huge. He last week already set a record for the Lions, literally a franchise record for the amount of hits on a quarterback in a game. He had, I think, 5 or 6 last week on Alex Smith. So that was, I didn't realize how bad our pass rushing history was if that's the case. But Everson Griffin looks really good. I hope it's enough. I hope it's not too little too late. But in this game, I like the Lions to win. I'm gonna go 27-20. I think the Panthers defense is relatively decent. And it's gonna be a close game, but ultimately Stafford guts it out for a victory on the road, and we head to Thanksgiving at 500, ready to take on the Texans. Let's go around to the rest. So Remy, how you feeling about the Lions here on the road in Carolina?
For the sake of the Lions being a threat now to the Minnesota Vikings, we've seen week after week the Lions grind it out, but we've also seen Teddy grind it out, and I gotta go with my guy Teddy. I might even rock a Vikings Teddy Bridgewater jersey on Sunday.
So uncharacteristic of you.
Yeah,
right. So no, I like the Panthers in this one. I like them 21-17.
And you like him just solely because Teddy Bridgewater's playing for the Panthers, or you legitimately believe
because
that
if you guys lose and we win, we move up a spot, and it's playoffs.
You're already
it's
ahead
the
of us
emotion,
right
boys.
now.
It's the emotion. That's how Remy rolls.
But we gotta be. I'd be more comfortable being up an actual game instead of a division win.
Fair enough. Yeah, because we know we got you later in the season. We got you.
Yeah, your time will come. Just another one off the checklist.
All right, Kinger, how do you feel about the Lions here?
Yeah, the quarterback is situation for both teams is gonna, I think, make a big difference in this game. Whether we get Teddy and Matt playing and whatnot. Ultimately, again, we talked about early in the year. I think the Panthers are a little bit underrated team. I guess the Lions have shown flashes of them being, a very competitive team as well. I think similar situation as the Panthers. I'm going to lean towards the Panthers again this week. I'm looking at it right now. It looks like Bridgewater is going to try and play based on pain. Like you said, I like them to be able to move the ball in the Lions defense. I'm going to take them 24-17.
Oh, this is ridiculous. All right. Come on, Barney. Come on. Bring it home. Come on.
Big C, you know what you're walking into here. All right.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
I know.
Fundamentally, I just can't go with you guys. I like Matt. I like especially if you're gonna have Galladay back. I like you guys a lot. But you know what? I gotta say, Joe Brady and Matt Rule, as far as a first year regime is going on, I think they're exceeding a lot of expectations this year. I know Remy said that they were going to win the AFC South or the NFC South, but I think we all thought they were going to be one of the worst in football. And they're giving every single game a real tough game. This is going to be contingent on the quarterbacks, but even if both quarterbacks are playing and both quarterbacks are hurt, I like the Panthers in a tough game. 21-20.
So Lions cover the 1.5.
We'll see.
In your scenario. But you're all being ridiculous. This Panthers team has lost 5 in a row. It's not like, and they lost by 23 points last week. So I think you're giving them way too much credit. A loss is a loss in the NFL. A 3-7 team. Yes, they've been more competitive maybe than people give them credit for, but these are NFL players. So, I mean, the Jaguars were competitive last week. Doesn't mean they're a good team. You're all being ridiculous here, but, that, and I'm not being biased. I legitimately believe that. I think the Lions were a better team, and I think they figured out some things defensively, and they're going to get this win. But let's move on from their ridiculousness. So, Remy, your Minnesota Vikings, 7-point favorites at home against the Cowboys, who look like they're getting Andy Dalton back. So how do you feel? Do you fear the Red Machine coming into Minnesota?
No.
The Red Rocket. A Red Rocket. What? Not Red Machine. Red Rocket.
The Red Rifle. The Red Rifle.
Red Rifle. Red Rifle. Thank you, Kicker.
When you mix red with purple, it just turns brown and it turns ugly. And that's what this game's going to be. That's what this game's going to be for the Cowboys. The Cowboys are coming in losing the last 4 games, and we're on a roll winning our last 3, being all since our bye, being all divisional games. Might I add? Check mark, check mark, check mark. For those of you who aren't watching our Zoom call, I just check marked them all off. Anyway, the Vikings are on an upward trend, and looking at our injury report, we're starting to get healthy. Guys are Cameron Dantzler, I've been telling you, who's been one of our top 3 corners on the team, has been practicing more, and looked maybe like he was good to go last week. Ultimately didn't. He's now practicing more. Irv Smith is practicing more. And it's guys like on our defensive line, we're getting pressure. It's guys like DJ Wanham, who we drafted as like 10 tackles, 3 sacks, and a forced fumble. Like, he comes up in the clutch moments. And while Dallas usually plays Minnesota pretty close, I know last year it came down to like a 4th and 4, and Kendrick stopped Zeke on a little out route. The year before that, it came down to 2 points, and I believe there was hands to the face, but the Cowboy fans will tell you there wasn't on Sam Bradford. But no, I have confidence in this Vikings team. I think the rookie corners are getting better each week, and I think we're finally figuring out how and when to use Dalvin Cook.
Yep. And I think then the Cowboys, and someone else can test this, didn't they lose Trayvon Diggs, one of their better defenders?
Yeah, he's on IR.
Safety?
And I wouldn't necessarily say he's their better one, but I go over. So the place I watch football at he's a Cowboy, so I watch all the Cowboy fans there.
Where do you go watch football, Remy? Where do you go watch football on Sunday?
Oh, I've got a buddy who's got like a 6 or 7 TV setup. I'll send a picture into the story, and we got all the games, and so. He's a big Cowboy fan, so I've watched this man over and over, and Trayvon Diggs get burned, and he always lets me have it because I was hyping Trayvon up before the season, obviously. And yeah, so I think our secondary looks better than theirs, and I think our team right now is hot, and not that home matters, but we are at US Bank Stadium, and I mean I'm still thinking we're underdogs because we have to put a string together and take it week by week. And Dalvin Cook is the best running back in the NFL.
The Cowboys defense has stepped it up the last couple of weeks.
I've heard this the past 3 weeks. My defense will stop Dalvin. This defense will stop Dalvin. Oh no, those 2 defenses will. My defense will stop. No.
I think the Bears stopped them.
The Bears did stop him.
So stopping Dalvin, okay, he didn't score, but he had 96. I think he had over 100 all-purpose yards. If stopping Dalvin is 96
on 30
yards,
carries,
dude, you didn't score at it wasn't a productive offense. Like that was not
13.
19 to 13. And
timeout.
19 and 13.
Soldier Field with Kirk Cousins on Monday Night Football. 1-9. That's all that needs to be said.
No, that's not all that needs to be said.
Needed to do.
Dude, yeah, but that's not. Dude, you guys got a fumbled punt at the 20-yard line, and in 3 plays got 1 yard with Dalvin, and then you guys kicked the field goal. Dalvin was stopped. I'm just going to say, you might have ran all over Detroit and you might have ran all over Green Bay, but you did not run.
Dalvin got us some key first downs.
Okay.
And 96 yards.
I think most of that was the fact that the Bears had 14 yards of scrimmage in the second half is why you guys won.
Okay, we'll give you the Dalvin that we'll give you that the Bears controlled sort of Dalvin.
Okay.
Dalvin Cook had 30 carries for 90 yards, averaging like 3 yards a carry.
He didn't get jack shit.
It was like 3.3, I believe, but
and 40 of them I think came in the last like 7 carries because Akeem and everybody was out. But it doesn't matter.
Skull, baby, let's go.
All right, Remy, give us your prediction for this game.
Oh, put me right on. Well, Minnesota's offense is looking red hot. I'm looking for a pair of touchdowns from the gritty master himself. I'm going to have Justin Jefferson, by the way. I'm going to have to go 28-14 in favor of Minnesota.
All right. Barney, since you're so fired up over there, what do you got?
I think Dalvin has a good game against Dallas. Shut your bitch ass up, dude.
What does he have? What is he putting up against Dallas?
I'd probably say he has about 125 or more, but I would say 125 is a good number to look at if you're an over under better on props. But I think it's going to be a very clock management game. I don't think they're going to ask Kirk to do too much. I think that's the recipe to Minnesota's success. I would say the win is going to be 24 Minnesota to 13. I'll give you guys an 11-point victory. 13 Dallas, so 24-13.
All right.
But I thought when Dalvin was stopped, Kirk couldn't do anything.
Did Kirk have great stats? I don't know if Kirk had great stats if everybody thinks he did. I mean, I think just over 200 is not like a great game as a quarterback. You guys face the Bears. Suck my dick, Remy.
Oh, stop. You were 5-1 on top of the world.
Remy, you're so lucky you're in Iowa. I would fucking swirly you like there's no tomorrow.
I love it. The tables have turned.
So Dallas has a bottom 5 rush defense in the NFL, per DVA, per PFF, whatever metric you look at. It's a very bad rush defense this season, for them. So I think Dalvin Cook's going to get 130 to 140 yards in this game, and I'm seeing but I still think that the Cowboys offense can find something if Andy Dalton returns with those receivers against this secondary. And with play action and with Ezekiel Elliott, so I'm going to say this is going to be a 24-16 win for the Vikings, but it'll be closer than people think. Kinger,
I'm with you, Big Z. I think that this is going to be a game that is closer than most people think. I think Andy Dalton coming back does give a little bit of spark to that Dallas offense. They really just have too many playmakers out there, to really be held in check, for too long. I still really believe they have the ability to put up some numbers offensively if that offensive line plays well. I think the Vikings defense still is a little bit vulnerable, but that being said, the Cowboys defense is awful. Like you guys have already highlighted, this game is setting up for Dalvin to hopefully have, a very big day. I think the Vikings are going to continue to roll. They're the second best team in the NFC North, 30-24 Vikings.
All right. Excellent. Let's move on to the last game of the slate. That's another 325 game, the national game. And that is the Packers traveling on the road as underdogs against the Indianapolis Colts. The Packers looks like are 2-point underdogs to the Colts in Indianapolis. So, Kinger, why are the Packers underdogs here?
That's a good question. I don't know why.
I know why.
Well, I mean, Barney, please inform us. Why are the Packers underdogs?
Because fuck the Packers.
Okay. Well, that's a very well thought out response there. But, ultimately, I think
Barney's had a lot to drink today.
That's I wouldn't expect anything else from Barney right there from him to say anything different than that. But I think the Packers-Jaguars game is definitely sitting a little bit. It's definitely recent, obviously in Vegas's mind, coming off just a couple days off that. And the Colts have looked like a very good football team the last few weeks. That defense is really something special. Actually, I putting together notes ahead of this, but as just refreshing Twitter, I saw some stats that came up just about the Colts defense. The fewest yards per game allowed in the NFL right now, fewest missed tackles. Third versus the run, third fewest passing touchdowns, fourth in points. There's a few more there, but Colts defense is elite. They've got playmakers across the board. DeForest Buckner's having a hell of a season. That was a great trade for them, giving up that first round. He's just an absolute monster in the run game. Darius Leonard, obviously, out of South Carolina State, pretty under the radar when the Colts drafted him. He's turned out to be an elite talent in the NFL. And Their secondary quietly has been very productive this season as well. Their safety, Julian Blackmon, is probably in the running for Defensive Rookie of the Year, probably alongside Barney's guy there on the Bears, the corner out of Utah, Jalen Johnson.
College teammates.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So both of them, having really good seasons. So the Colts have a lot of talent on that side of the ball. And it's going to be interesting to see how the Packers offense, responds to that. We're still not fully healthy. We activated Lazard off of IR this week, but there's still no guarantees he's going to go. Bakhtiari played last week. He's good to go again this week. But it's going to be really interesting to see, exactly how the Packers come out. They're back in a dome this week. Roger said he's real excited to play. And so the Colts, who have done a very good job this season of limiting explosive plays, which the Packers have really lived off of. I think it's going to be key this week, obviously, to run the football, which the Colts are very good at stopping, and then additionally getting some the short passing game going. I'm hoping to see some improvements in both those areas this week.
Kinger, I don't know if you saw anything. I know when I was watching the game this weekend, Xavier Rhodes, who's really turned around, like what looked like a very bad sort of end of his career to, like a lot of life in the Colts. It looked like he got a little banged up with his hamstring. I think he messed something up, and that is something big that plays into, somebody that's going to guard Devontae Adams or Lazard or whoever. Do you know if he's gonna play at all, or?
So I don't know that, but historically, I'll tell you the joke in Green Bay was the saying is Green Bay where the roads were always open when Devontae was up against Xavier. Because if you look historically at his time when Xavier was with Minnesota, Devontae had a field day against him and had some of his best games and most success against him as a corner. Now, the other side of that, I talk about Lazard. I didn't even mention Devontae said that Devontae left the game.
Can I rebuttal on that?
I mean,
let's not forget in 2015 when it came down to Xavier Rhodes picked Rodgers off in the end zone to win the North to go to the playoffs. So, yeah.
All right,
you got on that.
That's all right. You got
solid rebuttal.
Solid rebuttal. You got that one. But Devontae tweaked his ankle in the game last weekend versus Jacksonville. He came back. He said earlier in his press conference, it's not 911, nothing to be too serious about, but they're monitoring it. So there's no guarantee that he's actually going to play this week. Again, like I mentioned, Lazard too. So we could have an interesting matchup again with some lower string or lower tiered guys in the Packers receiving end, with MVS having to step up, be number one again. That's going to be something to watch as things progress the next couple days.
Yeah. There's a lot. I really like this Indianapolis front seven. It's still one of the best in the NFL. I'm really curious if they're going to get DeForest. DeForest Buckner loves to jump off sides once or twice a game. So the Packers better be ready to take advantage of that, as Aaron Rodgers loves to do. He loves those hard counts and throwing it deep on any offsides. So I'm really curious if that'll come into play at all. But other than that, I think they're going to shut down Aaron Jones. This is going to be a tough one. But did you give your prediction, Kinger?
No, not yet. There's it's definitely going to be a tough game for the Packers, and I think Frank Reich said today that it was already going to be, this is far and away going to be his toughest test for the defense. We talked about a little Colts defensively versus the Packers offensively. I think the other side of the ball is going to come. It's going to come down to a lot of Phillip Rivers this week, right? Historically, the Colts really are a team that are built that's the type of team the Packers have struggled against in recent years. Teams with really good offensive lines that can run the ball, effective quarterbacks, and then good defenses that stop the run, good elite defenses. This is a formula of a team that the Packers have struggled against recently. So, I do think the Colts running the ball, it's going to be interesting to see how our D-line steps up again with the run defense, but it's looking and trending like we're going to have both our corners back this week. Kevin King has been practicing. He's been out for like 4 weeks with a quad. Jair was out last week with a concussion protocol. And it's trending that both of those guys are going to play this week. And if both of those guys play this week, I like the Packers' ability to hopefully get a turnover or two out of Phillip Rivers. I still don't fully believe in his play. So I think it's going to be critical that they stop the run early, and then hopefully Phillip, throws us a ball or two. And if that's the case, I am confident. Packers is dogs. There's no way I'm not going to pick them on that. So I'm going to take Green Bay to win the game 24-20.
All right. Let's I wonder what Remy's going to pick here. Remy, what do you got? This is very unpredictable. I don't know what's coming.
Yep. You guys you guys know how the rules go. Never root for the Packers, never root for the Saints. I mean, to be honest, I don't know how the Packers even won that game against the Jags. They should have lost. But, new week, new opportunity to watch the Packers lose, obviously, against the Colts. I'm going to have to go 28-24 in favor of Indianapolis. Get it done, Phil.
All right. My thoughts on this one, it does look like Xavier Rhodes is going to play, by the way, in this game. That's what I'm reading. Anyways, this is a really tough one. These are two very evenly matched. I could see this going either way. I think I like the way the Colts are playing right now, and the fact that this game is at home. I like that as well. Not that home means that much in the NFL this year, but just a little more comfortable for the Colts. And I like the matchup of Nyheim Hines going against possibly one of these linebackers of the Packers. I like that matchup. And I like the fact that Phillip Rivers, I think, is going to have time against the pass rush of the Packers. So I like that matchup as well, just because I like this Colts offensive line. I think it's a 3-point win. I'm going to go 27-24 Colts. So, Barney, let's throw it to you. Last prediction.
I honestly think this is going to be a pretty ugly game. I don't think Aaron Rodgers and this Green Bay team is somebody that can really go up and put up points against an elite defense, and I think that's what the Colts are. I watched the Green Bay Packers face the Bears, and although they've beat us, they haven't been able to have much success in the last couple of years. That front seven's tough. Darius Leonard, DeForest Buckner, they're going to make it tough to run the ball at all. If Xavier Rhodes, can do enough, just trying to cover the number one. I gotta say, I think it's going to be a real ugly game, but I think the Indianapolis Colts do the NFC North a favor and pull out a W here. And I would say they're going to win 22-20.
Hey, now, man, you're the lone man here, Kinger.
I love it. I've got the squad riled up. Everybody wants to see my Pack go down.
We all do. We all do.
And everybody wants to see the Lions go down. Everybody picked against the Lions. What's that all about?
Well, it's because
we're in the same boat. It's not like we're in the same boat.
And it's not more so we want to see the Lions go down. Maybe Barney does, but we just know the Lions are probably going to go down. So that's why we just say it, right?
Yeah. Playoff purposes for Minnesota.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's going to wrap up the Week 11 preview for the NFC North here. But now let's get time. We're recording this on Wednesday, so this is our Thursday best bets. So I'm going to throw it over to Barney to recap how far we've gotten so far. We're heading to Week 11 in the NFL season. If you can update us on our standings and overall there.
Yep. So our standings. Kinger. I love you, dude. I do. But things haven't been going well.
No, they have not. They have not.
I have Kinger in last. I have Remy in third, who just took a very barn-burning victory to take that third spot. And then Big Z, you've been comfortable in that second position. I'm waiting for somebody.
What's my record now? What's my record?
I'm waiting for somebody to challenge me up top. Your record is incredibly almost 50-50. You are 15, 14, and 1.
All right.
But I think you guys all had pretty damn good weeks. I didn't have a good week last week, but it's just like golf. After my worst hit, when I'm in the trees, when I'm in the bushes, I know my best recovery shot is coming. And this is what this weekend is. It's a big weekend for Barnster here.
I think we heard that 2 weeks ago, too. That same reference, golf reference.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm just saying, you bad, and then you said your next shot was good, then you were good, now you're bad again.
And I did. I went 2-1, and then the Tampa Bay lost on Monday night, which was a disgrace. However, my games here. I really want to wait on Carolina and Detroit just to feel like who. I know the line's going to change if something's going to happen, but for all us listeners, I think that's one of the most volatile lines this week. Right now, it's Carolina -1.5 hosting Detroit. Be a lookout at the injury report there. We don't know what quarterback's going to play, whatnot. But as of today, I'm going to go Joey cover Burrows going into Washington. I think he takes Riverboat Ron, and he's getting 1.5 Cincinnati. I think he's just playing great ball. He's moving the football around. He's doing a really good job. He looks like a veteran out there. And Washington has a good defense, a good front seven, but nothing really great. I mean, they were pretty much subdued to Detroit for a while in that game, and then they came back. So, I'm thinking Joey Burrow 1.5 versus Washington's a lock here. Cleveland, my next game. If you've been listening to me, I think Philly's one of the worst teams in the country, but you got to take advantage of what Vegas, for some reason, likes and plays on. I think it's because Philly is home to a bunch of fucking idiots, and they're all a bunch of numbskulls, and they're the worst fans in the world, and they're all just always going to vote for the Eagles. So I think that's why the line is only at 3 while Cleveland's at home. But I think Chubb's going to run all over that defense. I'm going to go Cleveland -3 there. And then I want to take Jabu. Versus Atlanta. I do, guys. I really do. I wish Jabu was the Bears quarterback.
Jameis Winston, right?
Yeah, Jameis Winston.
Okay, just make sure.
Because I know he wants to eat a W. All right? I really want to take him, but I really, really, really believe that even though Green Bay may win, Aaron Rodgers is not going to put up points on this defense. I don't think Phillip Rivers' arm is really all that great, and they've had some struggles running the ball, but Green Bay has been susceptible. Right now, the line is 51.5, and I'm going to take the under. Green Bay, Indianapolis. Let's go, baby.
All right. So those are Barney's best bets. Let's go over to Remy now. Remy, you've had a couple good weeks here to get back into third place, so you gonna keep it going?
I have, and that's going to continue when I choose the Panthers, regardless of who they have under
ridiculous.
center. When I looked before we started, it was at -3, so I don't know. I'll take whatever they give me there. But then I'm looking at this Tennessee Ravens game, and I'm definitely taking the under at what I saw was 49. I think it was like 49, yeah.
Yep,
and
still 49.
I think Pittsburgh's going to go out and dominate, and I'm taking them straight -10. If that's what they're at now, I don't know if all these changed.
Yep.
What do you say in that last one there?
Pittsburgh
Pitt -10 at Jacksonville.
Yep, still 10. You like the Steelers then? All right.
Yeah.
So those are Remy's bets. 2 of the 3 are good. Your first one, the Panthers. I do not agree. So you can lose your money. I won't feel bad for you either. But anyways, let's go over to Kinger there. Kinger, what are your best bets for Week 11?
I'm down in the dumps with my gambling boys. I really am. I keep coming back every week. This is the week to bounce back. We're not even going to give that speech this week. We're just going to take some picks, and we're going to hope that things turn around here for us. I am with Barney. I'm on Joe Burrow this week. I do not believe in the Washington football team. They seem to get lines in their favor pretty much on a week-to-week basis, and I haven't seen it at all from them this year. I'm going to take Joe Burrow in that offense as well. I also love T. Higgins. looking back, boys, I wish the Packers maybe would have taken a look at him, because I said earlier in the podcast that was a guy that I didn't like early, and he's turned out to be proved me very wrong. I do like him, so I'm with Joe Burrow. I'm with the Bengals this week.
Not a quarterback in the first round, you mean?
Yeah, we'll evaluate that later, but I just wanted to make that comment. The other game I'm looking at, it's offline right now. It opened up at 7, and I think it's because the Raiders defense, like just about all of them, are in COVID protocol, but I like the Chiefs to absolutely demolish the Raiders this week. I think Andy Reid was a little bit upset, and the Chiefs are playing a little bit of chip on their shoulders after Raiders beat them at Arrowhead earlier this season, took a little bit of lap around the field, victory lap around the field afterwards. I don't know if that actually means anything, but I think the Chiefs come out firing, especially if the Raiders are going to be down a few players. So I have that line at 7. I'll take it all the way up to 10. I'm on the Chiefs this week. And then finally, game here in the NFC North. I love the over in this Vikings Cowboys game. I think both defenses are going to let up points. I do again mention I think bringing back Andy Dalton brings a spark to that offense. It's only at 48 right now. I could see that game going into the mid 50s. I'm going to take the over in that one.
All right, so those are Kinger's best bets as he looks to get back on track. So focusing on me now with my best bets. So I just want to say I grabbed the Chiefs at 6.5, and now that line's all the way to 7.5. So and that was on Tuesday. I took that, so that's really moving quickly in the other direction.
Yeah, now it's not even available because you guys saw that. Like 8 or 9 of the starters on defense alone for Vegas has been like COVID or something going on where they might not even be able to play. So,
yeah, exactly. That's TBD. I saw that, and that's why I'm saying who knows if that line's gonna even come back at.
What a year!
How high would you take it up to, Big Z?
Kinger
said what 10? 10
I said 10. Yeah.
This Raiders team always plays hard against the Chiefs. I liked it by 7 or less just because I'm pretty confident the Chiefs, they're not going to lose twice to this team, and they're playing on turf, which Mahomes always plays really well on turf.
You're like a
I don't know about 10. That's a tough one.
You're like a horse racing kind of guy. It's like, I like the guy who plays on turf better than the guy who's going on the gravel.
But again, that's not one of my 3 best bets because that's a completely different line. I like the Lions on the road. I think they match up really well with the Panthers. My only concern, and I didn't mention it earlier, is its 2 speedy wide receivers. I didn't mention Robbie Anderson. I forgot to mention Curtis Samuel. I think Curtis Samuel is the biggest mismatch for the Lions defense. If Justin Coleman can play up to his contract this game, which he does, he's Jekyll and Hyde. Some games he's great, some games he's one of the worst. Then I like the Lions there. But I think Matt Stafford, he looked the best he has all year. I don't think he's going to be affected by that thumb injury at all. So I do like the Lions on the road against the Panthers. And I think the Panthers might, be secretly not – these teams don't try to lose. I'm not saying that. But they could use another high draft pick to really kick that franchise in another gear.
Detroit totally could use a high draft pick. You're right. Kidding.
Funny, yeah. So the second one, I completely disagree with you, Kinger and Barney, about the Bengals. I like the Redskins match up a lot in this. Their front 4 against the Bengals' terrible offensive line. The Redskins have one of the top pass defenses in the NFL, despite it's kind of like the Bears in terms of good defensive performance, terrible offense. It's kind of the same thing here, but I do think the Redskins have found something with Alex Smith to at least move the ball and get a respectable amount of points. But I love that front 4 against the Bengals offensive line. The Bengals offensive line, one of the worst in the NFL, if not the worst. So I love that matchup, and that's why I like the Redskins a lot at 1.5. And it's at home, which I like a lot as well, where they've been playing much better. And then the last one I'm going to take, I think the Falcons have been playing really good. I don't have a ton of faith in Jameis Winston, and I think the Falcons' defense has found a little something with Raheem Morris there. Their only losses against the Lions, and that's a game they should have won, so they should be undefeated under Raheem Morris. 5 points, I think, is a lot. If that line moves higher than 5, I'm going to take it. So I don't think it's going to move in the Falcons' favor. It might stay at 5, but if I'm going to wait until Sunday to see where that line goes. If it goes 5.5, 6, I'll be even more over it. But I really like the Falcons. So those are my 3 best bets.
You're not afraid of Jameis?
No.
Have you seen his pregame routine? It's kind of like the Dak from last year, but it's a little bit, I don't know. He's got those hips don't lie.
He activates the hips. He activates the hips for sure.
Yeah. Whatever puts him back in the spotlight is great because that's just going to throw him off completely. That's a guy that likes the spotlight too much, gets distracted. Love it.
I'll tell you what, Jamie should have been a Bear. He's the only person that would have made the Bears offense at least can't miss.
Yeah, exactly. It would have been entertaining as hell for sure. There's no doubt about that. That's the one thing you say about Jameis. He makes it entertaining. It's like watching a car crash or something great. It's weird watching it. But I will never forget him throwing his 30th interception as a pick 6 last year to lose the game. That was just phenomenal stuff. You can't write that kind of stuff.
Hey, but I will say, fellas, rematch of what I think is probably be the greatest game of the year so far. Arizona, Seattle. I don't know if you guys felt that way since, earlier in the season, but that's on Thursday. So all of our listeners out there will have a pick out, for Thursday night's game. And that was a hell of a game. So I'm sure it'll be interesting which guys we take with that game.
It will. So, look at our picks on Instagram at the Pylon. Please follow us on there. We got a lot of followers, and we're posting stuff on our story, everything like that. Whether it's Remy making a story, getting after Barney and the Bears last week. And Barney, you lost a bet last week, right? So there might be something else coming, right?
Some would say
we'll
lost
see.
a bet.
All right.
We'll see if any of the listeners call me out. We'll see.
And then, just please subscribe to the podcast on Apple. Please leave a review on there as well. You can also subscribe on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. But we'd really appreciate that, and any feedback you could provide. Also, really appreciate that. So, thank you everybody for listening. Have a great week 11. As things start coming down to the wire here in the second half of the NFL season. Bears fans, enjoy now watching your offense for a week. And we'll get back here after it and wrap up week 11 of the season. So thank you, everybody, for listening. For Kinger, Barney, Remy, and Big Z, everybody have a great weekend. And enjoy NFC North football.
Bear down.